Welcome to Storytime with Taluli. Today's reading comes from r/TalesFromYourServer. Our first story is titled, Got Fired Today. We had a meeting about reopening on Tuesday. The owners and front of house manager had printed out the guidelines the Department of Public Health had issued for restaurants and wanted us to sign them. As we were going over them, one of the owners made it very clear we were not actually going to be following these. I have a bit of legal training, and I knew if anyone got sick, not following the guidelines is a huge deal. We could be liable for anyone getting sick or dying. By having us sign the guidelines but not enforcing them, the owners were pushing all the liability onto us. I ripped my copy up because there was no way I was going to be caught in that situation. I don't carry a multi-million-dollar business insurance policy to deal with a wrongful death lawsuit. Yesterday, I sent the owners and FOH manager an email discussing the importance of actually following the guidelines and how important wearing masks are. This morning, I got fired over the phone. I'll bounce back strong. I have a decade of experience ranging from James Beard, winning finalists, restaurants, to fun casual brew pubs. My point is to watch out for extra sketchy crap employers might try and pull off during these crazy times. Don't be afraid to stand up for what's right and protect yourself. Restaurants might view us as disposable and easily replaced, but I know the truth. Every one of us matters. We are individuals who make their restaurants what they are, and we deserve better. Love you all and can't wait to serve you all up a great drink once I find a new spot. Yeah, that's not cool. It's like, here are the guidelines. I'm going to make you sign it, but knowingly break what you're signing. So it's like, that's just not ethical at all. That's ridiculous. Our next story is titled, Today My Boss Was a Racist. A few days ago, the owner of the locally owned barbecue joint I work for retweeted a racist comment from the restaurant's social media account and suggested the staff participate in racially insensitive actions. Yesterday, a Black Lives Matter march peacefully protested throughout our city. Today, my small community found this abhorrent tweet and lost their crap, rightfully. Today, as I opened the restaurant, I fielded calls left and right from angry community members and previous patrons who were disgusted with our racist establishment. The community planned a riot/protest and threatened to vandalize our building. Oh, I wonder what the tweet said. You didn't even tell us what the tweet said. Today I had to walk away from my job and my income as my boss's comments not only disgusted me, but put my safety at risk. It is incredibly poopy when prominent people live their lives and tweet their lives without considering how it affects their employees. Today I had to stand up to a racist and desperately try to convince the community that his actions did not reflect the staff in any way. Today sucked. That's it? You're just gonna leave us? You don't even tell us what the tweet said? Come on! How do you not tell us what the tweet said? You're just telling us. I want to know. But yeah, if they're racist, then of course you can't work for that. That's unacceptable. Like, racism's not cool and it shouldn't be tolerated. But I really want to know what the tweet said. You just left us hanging there. Our next story is titled, I effing hate all of my customers for forcing me to come back to work. I work at a local neighborhood restaurant that has been super crazy busy since we opened last Thursday. My first day back, Friday, was a 10-hour serving shift. I have actually been grateful for my city's curfew, started Saturday, just so I don't have to work as long of shifts. Oh, by the way, on Friday, the tear gas made its way to where I work. That was pleasant. So can we decide if we're worried about COVID-19 in the US or not? Because wearing a mask for more than a few hours outside in the heat really effing sucks. All the precautions we're doing are just BS time wasters anyway. There's no time to wash hands or even use hand gel between every table interaction. Plus, we're way busier than we were the same time last year. Half the people needed to be reminded to wear masks. 10% of them will argue with us about the mask policy. It's just a city-state order. Most of my tables have been groups of people who obviously don't live together, and a lot of the customers know each other, so it's impossible to keep tables from visiting one another. Most people have been hugging and sharing food and drinks with no care in the world, and the kitchen doesn't even wear masks. That's how I know this is all BS security theater. But every day since I've been back, I've overheard numerous people saying how they have made some huge risks to go out to eat. Seriously, F off. I don't want your 25% tip. I want to feel safe at work. Maybe if you see a full restaurant, go somewhere else, or better yet, stay at home. I realized we'd have to eventually reopen, but I was hoping we'd do it slowly, not 0 to 100 overnight. When someone comes in infected, it will spread like wildfire. And honestly, I don't give an F anymore. I've caught myself daydreaming that I caught the virus just so I didn't have to go into work. I'm exhausted. Yeah, I think once the protests happened, everyone stopped caring. Like, coronavirus just became a thing no one remembered all of a sudden. Once everyone went out and got into groups together and without, like over the, like no one cared. It's like, okay, it's like we all just forgot about it just literally overnight. It's kind of, I don't get it. Our next story is titled, Why It Pays to Be Nice, How I Got a $200 Tip. I was a server for a while before my current employment, and this is one of my more memorable stories from a couple years ago. We had this family that came in to eat regularly. Now, usually regulars are some of the best customers, but this was a membership-based country club, so you can't really kick someone out, and they come in quite often. The man, presumably the father, always ordered/paid the bill, etc. All the other servers dreaded when this table came in because the man was always rude, complaining at little things, barking orders, and just generally impatient. Not always intentionally so, but he just sucked at decent human skills. On top of that, he had a rather poor tipping record. Ironic because the family presumably had a decent amount of money to be able to come in several times a week or a month. Because of this, most of the other servers were very avoidant to serve him. So one day he comes in and sits in another section near mine, and my coworker asks if I can take them. I saw for sure because I wasn't too busy and went to greet the guests. Immediately, he was very gruff and ordered straight away. The table had the nasty habit of asking for one thing at a time. I need napkins. Bring them napkins, now they need sauce, then something else. You get how it goes. I ended up making way too many trips, but it wasn't a big deal because I only had a few other easy tables at the time. As most of us do, I take immense pride in my work, and with a touchy guest, I was extra careful. Now, we hadn't had any problems with him yelling at servers or stiffing on the bill, but I still wanted to leave a good impression. Plus, I love a good challenge. I made sure all their food was piping out and came out perfectly. Drinks never fell below half full. They had everything they needed. Even when he was rude, I had a smile on my face and was incredibly polite. He seemed a little taken aback as most other servers at this restaurant were not as nice when they had to deal with customers of this sort, especially when you'll only get around a 5% tip. Anyways, time to check out and he pays cash. He says to me that in a couple of months he had been coming to eat, none of the servers had served him as competently and kindly as I had. He said it was the best visit they had had since coming there. He hands me cash on top of the receipt and says, "Keep the change." I go to the POS and close the check. I stopped by another table, so by this point, him and his family had already left. Their bill was somewhere around $150 to $175, and he had left me an additional $200. This is why I always try to be nice to my guests, no matter how rude, as long as they are reasonable. Some people are just naturally prickly. Now, when they get obnoxious or unreasonable, I will sort it out or get the manager. But it pays to at least attempt to be nice first, as we all try to do. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work out this way, but it's nice that the good experiences like this one stick with you more than the bad. Wow, that's pretty cool. Maybe he was just like, yeah, I don't know. Like maybe he's just kind of a prickly person, like you said, and then he just had a good experience, and he was like, "Oh wow, okay, well here, I'm gonna reward you for your kindness." That's good. That's a good story. Our next story is titled "Lying Because I'm Scared of Getting Fired." I'm pretty new at my place. When we reopened after the pandemic, they said we would be using paper menus, sanitizing tables and chairs, masks and gloves, all that. I felt good about it, so I went into work. Right away, people fell back into old habits. People were not wearing gloves, masks were being pulled down constantly, barely sanitizing tables and chairs. We used the handheld POS and weren't cleaning those. Everything we actually were doing was for show. It wasn't actually protecting anybody. I tried to just make sure I was being clean. I washed my hands often, switched gloves as frequently as possible, trying to not wear the same pair from table to table. I sanitized my own tables and chairs. I actually got yelled at for using too many gloves. Additionally, I was making hardly any money while working and exposing myself to illness at a place that clearly doesn't care. A lot of my coworkers had taken second jobs and were talking about all their coworkers who tested positive and saying they didn't feel so well themselves. I knew I needed to stop going in, but I didn't want to get fired because I don't know what may happen in the next few weeks. I spun a pretty elaborate lie so I can safely stay away for a while and figured out what to do. But it sucks that I'm so scared of being fired that I have to do this. The industry, and most companies really, treat us like we're so expendable and it really sucks. I've seen a few posts about people being fired due to actually caring about the health and wellness of themselves and others. I just want to say, do not sacrifice your health for your job. I know for some people there is no choice, you have to work, and for that, I am so sorry. I wish everyone was taking this seriously so we could get back to normal as soon as possible. In good news, it seems as though cases are falling. I hope everyone has been staying safe and continues to do so. Yeah, I feel like people are over it at this point. Like, it went from like everyone was on board to now it's just kind of there's like, well, I guess there's always kind of a bit of division, but not as much as there is now. Now it seems to be pretty major, like people that are just don't care anymore, and then people that are like want to stay exactly like how it was during the quarantine. But I don't know. It's if you don't feel safe there, then you shouldn't have to be there. And if you get fired, I'm pretty sure you can get well, actually, no. I guess there's a lot of unemployment. I don't know. It's kind of a big mess right now. It does suck. Yeah, if you don't feel safe and you have to go there. And then there's others that don't care. So it's, yeah, I don't know. I keep saying the same thing, I guess, because I guess it's just frustrating and it just keeps going in circles. Anyways, well, that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. If you did like this video, please like it. And if you like these types of videos, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that bell for notifications so you know when more videos come out. If you'd like to join the Discord, the link for that's in the description below, along with all of my other social media links if you'd like to follow me on other places of the internet as well. Thank you all for your continued support. Really, it means a lot. I hope you're staying safe out there. And with that being said, we'll see you next time.